Okay, Burn the Witch Chapter 2, Type Kubo's new short limited series. Didn't manage to get to talk about Chapter 1 last week, so I'm going to include a little bit of that, but mainly I want to talk about Chapter 2 and just Burn the Witch. Now, it's safe to say that obviously, I think it's only 4 chapters that we have, so this is going to be a short limited series. There's a lot of questions around Type Kubo's new series. For example, like, where is this going? What does Kubo want to do? The kind of vibe that I'm getting and what I would love to happen is I'd love Burn the Witch to get serialized as a running manga in the magazine. In regards to something like, I don't know, just like any other series, Promise Neverland, My Hero Academia, Black Clover, and so forth, all of that kind of stuff. I'd like, Burn the Witch to not have a limited run for just 4 chapters. And you know why? Because Kubo's just introducing so much stuff. And for me, I'm getting the vibe where it's like he's teasing us to what could be. That's what I really got basically from, especially chapter 2, but even chapter 1, from last chapter, we got introduced to basically, I don't know if they're the equivalent of captains from the Bleach universe, because each of these captains, or let me just call them officials. Each of these officials are like head of different kind of sectors of Wingbind, and which is really interesting because the Sabers, which are the ones who basically fight these dark dragons, they're basically the equivalent of Soul Reapers, and then you have all of these other sectors where you don't have like equivalent in Bleach. I guess there is stuff like Kido squad kind of not squad, but they've got the Kido. I even forgot the names of all this stuff. That's crazy. But you know what I mean. You've got the Kido. You have Stealth Squad as well. I don't even think they're called Stealth Squad. But yeah, like there's maybe that's the equivalent of that because we found out from last chapter we have like, the accounting. You have like gallows, which is punishment. You have pipers, and we know pipers is for like rearing and like basically guarding the dragons. So it is a very different story in comparison to Bleach. However, we do know it's in the same universe, but that was only addressed in the one shot. I thought Kubo was going to dive into a bit more about that within this limited run, but so far we haven't seen anything. However, there is a one panel in chapter 1 where Nini's going into reverse London, and she has like a coin which says Wingbind, but above it says SS. So I'm assuming that's Soul Society Wingbind, or something like that. That's my assumption. But yeah, Burn the Witch Chapter 2, I was even gonna say Bleach. That's wow. Burn the Witch Chapter 2, we get just a bit more characters. We get Nini's friend from the band. Bear in mind, Nini is a musician in the real London, the front London where we basically use. And now I had to say it, as one who lives in London, this is all legit. This is all real. No, I'm just joking. Obviously not. We like dragons and that. But what I did find hilarious was, I think it was in this chapter or in the chapter before, when like there's a dragon there, and like Noel's like to Nini, get the tape, and obviously like in London, the police, we have this tape. They use the tape as well. So I was kind of like, that's pretty funny. But no, I guess it's kind of cool to see a series like this and to see such a expansive world building as well so far. Only into 2 chapters. You could say 3 because of the one shot. But I feel like what Kubo's really doing is some of the complaints, you could say, that he probably got from Bleach. For example, like no backgrounds, or like we don't know too much about the world. I feel like Kubo's really honing in with that in Burn the Witch. We're getting extensive use of backgrounds. We're getting a lot of world building and just how this Wingbind and how everything works as a society. So that's what I feel like Kubo's really doing. And I also feel like Kubo's kind of showing off in the sense that if you want this to become a series, like this is what it could genuinely become. We do know it's getting obviously like the anime in October. So that's going to be pretty cool to watch. I can't wait for that. But yeah, let's jump in straight to actually what happened from this chapter. So we actually got a bit more description about these dragons. Now, obviously, these dragons are basically the equivalent of hollows, basically. The equivalent of hollows in Bleach, but it's a bit different. It is a bit more, I guess, varied. For example, within in Burn the Witch, you have some good dragons, and you obviously have the dark dragons. And the dark dragons are basically the hollows of Bleach. But in regards to all the other dragons, first of all, not only in their appearance do they look different, but also their function. So you have some dragons in Reverse London which can be used for transport. You've got some dragons which are basically like servants, or like they aid you in the day-to-day business. You have some which are like helping with food and nutrition and all of that kind of stuff. So we're seeing how in this society of Reverse London, how really these dragons basically build up the bed of or Burn the Witch of the universe. So it's really, really cool to see. And again, it draws up questions. Okay, cool. If this is the western side of Soul Society, like, how come we don't see all of these aspects within Bleach? Is there a thing where, it exists, but Kubo just didn't want to delve into? I'm not really sure. I don't really want to bring too much Bleach about this because this is its own thing as well. Yes, it is in the same universe and that, but I really want to talk about this chapter. So, we get to see, I believe her name's Mace. If I can just find out, Pig, 1 second. Yeah, Macy, who's basically like Nini's bandmate, or like, I don't really know. It's really cool though to see how like they're part of a band. I think that's pretty cool to see how like, Nini's basically got this life that's obviously hiding from everyone, which is like Reverse London, the fact that she's a piper, and then obviously in Front London, in the world where everyone sees, she's basically a celebrity. So it is pretty cool. There is one thing which I didn't really get, which I was kind of confused, is how did Macy come into Reverse London? Because Macy isn't a piper, she's not a saber, like she's not part of Wingbind that we know of. So that begs the question, how the hell did that happen? Is it a thing where once you get like a dragon, it's easy to go through? Like, I didn't know it was a thing where like anyone could just go into. So that is interesting to see. We find out a bit more, however, just of the connection between Front London and Reverse London. For example, something that happens there can be mirrored. Let's say you destroy a building in Reverse. Well, it seems like that's the way that it was alluding to, because like Macy was basically going to destroy this tabloid building, because the tabloids and paparazzi, they were just basically making stories out of whatever happened to her and Nini, and obviously of them leaving the band and etc. So, Macy is in Reverse London with her dragon that she has. And she wants to blow up this building, and apparently it will, reflect in Front London. So I'm not sure if this happens with everything. For example, in chapter 1 where Bargo, I think it's Balgo. Yeah, not Bargo. But Balgo and Asuchi-chan, they basically destroy some building. And then, like, I'm wondering if in Front London, those same buildings, were destroyed as well. So, yeah, it was a pretty interesting chapter to see, like, Balco basically getting, not initiated, but, like, just joined in to Pipers, which was really cool to see. I'm intrigued to see more about, just the functions of just Wingbind in general. But, we didn't really get to see much happen in this chapter other than what happened from the previous. So this was pretty cool, right? So previous chapter ended off with, like, these officials. I'm calling them the officials because I don't really want to call them captains. But yeah, so the 10 officials, the leaders basically of the sectors within Wingbind, they made the decision being like, okay, cool, we have to exterminate Balgo. And then one of the guys called Bruno Bangnaf, I believe, or Bagnaf, who basically looks like Bazby and Renji. I mean, Renji kind of looks like Bazby anyway, but basically looks like Bazby and Renji, and we know that Balgo basically looks like Ichigo. But yeah, so Bruno, what's his name? Sorry, Bruno Bangnaf. Okay, so he is the head of Magic Circle Corps Inc. Now we don't really know these, like, what corps and the functions they do. I feel like it would be pretty cool if Kubo gives a description of each, maybe in the next chapter, hopefully. But we know there's a bounty on Balgo's head. So Bruno's coming in, basically takes out Nini, to obviously kill Balgo. Now, I'm intrigued in regards to their abilities and to their powers. We see Piper, like the Piper squad, they have these horns, and they use magic incantations which are similar to Kido. So is that just basically the main weapon of use? Do these guys have their own? I'm not sure. I doubt we're going to see some katanas and stuff like that. I don't think so. But we do know that Kubo's had a series called Snipe, where it was like they used or was Snipe what Bleach was going to be? I can't remember. But yeah, we do know that Kubo is thinking of Soul Reapers having like guns, basically. So who knows? Maybe we'll see some stuff like that. That'll be pretty cool. You know, he did draw some characters in Bleach that did have guns, like Robert Akitron. Um, what's his name as well? Espada #1, him as well. So like, yeah, we did see stuff like that. But yeah, guys, I think that's enough for me. I'm gonna end it here. Please tell me your thoughts and comments on what you thought about this chat. If you'd like anything to say, drop a like. That does help out the channel quite a bit too. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what's gonna happen next chapter. You know, we're probably gonna see a fight. Now this is interesting because, you know, let's say this Bruno Bang Knife, he's obviously much stronger than Nini and Noelle, and obviously Nini wants to prove her strength to join Sabers, which is like the equivalent of the Soul Reapers. So it's gonna be really intriguing to see Bruno fight off against Nini and Noelle. Maybe Macy's going to join in with her dragon too. I'm intrigued to how Macy even managed to get a dragon in the first place. But yeah, guys, that's enough for me. Let's continue the discussion down below. Peace out. Goodbye.